Hello 7th and 8th grade violas. This is Skill Builder 13 and this week we are going to continue to look at a day at Disneyland. You guys have been doing such an awesome job learning this piece, and I think a lot of that success is due to the fact that you guys have been doing the hard work at home. You're watching these skill builders, you're working on the hard sections in your part, and then when we come together it really just all comes together nicely when the whole orchestra is in class. And so keep up the good work and we will be through this piece before you know it. So today we're going from measure 75 all the way to measure 112. And before we start looking at this music, let's first check to see if the time signature or the key signature has changed. And I can see at 75 the time signature has not. We are still in 4/4, which is awesome. But the key signature has. We've gone from having one sharp to having two sharps. Those two sharps are F sharp and C sharp. And this is the key of D major. We actually are pretty familiar with this key signature, so this should not be too challenging for us note-wise. However, there are a couple notes I want to point out before we get going. So in the key of D major, on the D and A strings, this is the finger pattern that we know and love, where your second and third finger are close, you have those high twos. But on the G and C strings, that's where we get some challenging notes, because 3 fingers on G is normally called C natural. So anytime that you have a note that's 3 on G, you're going to have to stretch it to make it a C sharp to make sure it fits with the key signature. And the same thing applies to the C string. 3 fingers on C is called F. So to make it F sharp, you have to stretch your third finger. So violas, as we're going through this section, I want you to remember that you have high 3s on G and C. Okay? And you will see some of them are marked as like what we call a courtesy accidental. It means they didn't have to tell you because it's in the key signature, but they are reminding you. However, you don't always see the courtesy accidental, so you just have to know it's high 3 on G and high 3 on C. All right, at measure 75, this is your time to shine, violas. 75 through 78 is just violas. So I have the 3 of you in our class right now, and then there are 4 in the high school. So all of you together are going to play this section on your own at 75. Let me play it for you so you can hear what it sounds like. So that is your beautiful melody, violas, that you should know, and make sure you practice this so that you can play it with confidence when we all do it together, okay? Then you have, at measure 79 and 82 measures of rest, and you come back in at 81. As I'm looking through this, I'm going to play from 81 to the end of 86. I do see a couple of high 3s in measure 82. There's my F sharp on the C string, so I have to get ready to stretch my third finger. I'm going to play from 81 to the end of 86. You can either play with me from the beginning, from the start, if you want to play, or you can listen once and then back up the video and play it with me the second time. Okay, so here I go, either listening and following along or playing with me. 1, 2, here we go. Excellent. So the big thing there are those high 3s on C. Make sure you're feeling really confident with those. They might take a little bit of practice before you feel good about them though, okay? So here's measure 87. I'm going to go all the way from 87 to the end of 96. Let's kind of browse through our music, see if we see anything hard here. I do see in measure 89, they are reminding you it's a high 3 on G. I see another high 3 on G in measure 91. And another high 3 on G at measure 94. Now, if you're feeling like you are going to forget those, there is nothing wrong with writing in your music either a sharp sign next to it. You could also, the thing that I like to do is I put an up arrow to remind me it's a high 3. If you wanted to really cover all your bases, you could put a sharp sign, you can do an up arrow, and a third finger to remind you it's a C sharp high 3. But other than those notes, the rest of this is really simple notes and rhythms. So here we go from 87, starting with an A, 1 finger on G. 1, 2, here we go. 2, 3, 4, 2, high 3, high 3. High 3 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent, good. Let's go from 97 all the way to the end of measure 108. We'll look through our music real quick. I see in measure 98, there's a couple of high 3s on G. 98 is a beautiful measure, but it might take a little while before you can get it under your fingertips. It sounds like this, rest. But once you get that down, it's so gorgeous put together with everything else. I'm going to keep looking here. There is a high 3 in 100, measure 100, high 3 on G. And then as I keep going here, 104, we have a couple more high 3s on C. And the rest of it does not look too bad. So we're going from 97 all the way to the end of 108. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ready, and here we go. Excellent, very good. Now at measure 109, you see a symbol that you probably have never seen before. It's a C with a line through it. This is a new time signature. It is called cut time, and we're not going to spend a ton of time right now talking about it, but what I want you to know is that it basically means everything is twice as fast. You can see it says that the half note equals the quarter note, so this section is going to go F, E, F, E, F when you play it. And we'll talk more about cut time next skill builder because all of the next tune is in cut time. But for right now, I just want you to know what this little section of 4 measures sounds like. So at 109, much, much faster. And like I said, we'll spend more time talking about it next time. Right now, I'm going to play everything from 75 to 112. You'll be able to hear that transition into the cut time, but we're going to play together from 75, catching all of those notes that we just talked about, making sure that we can play this with confidence, especially because you start with your special part here, violas. Ready? 75, 1, 2, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, ready, and here we go. Rest. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, here we go. Excellent. So make sure that you are really confident in this part before for the next day one. That's when we will try to put it all together with the whole class. And like I said, in the next skill builder, we'll talk a little bit more about how that cut time works so you can feel a little bit more confident about that. All right, everyone have a great day. Thanks so much for watching your skill builder, and I will see you in class.